Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another large block ship with moving parts, and this one is called the Ion Cannon Array, which you might recognise from Homeworld. It's this lovely thing that I'm currently standing on. So this is a gigantic ship that features a bunch of railguns that sit at the very front in this little tiny tube. There's 4 of them all together. We've got these big fins that sit on the top and the bottom. And if I was to say grab hold of my character and then press number 1, what's going to happen is after a short delay, the fins will then fold all the way backwards, but your railguns will activate and will allow you to fire them all straight forwards. So there we go. And that's all it does. It's a very simple and sweet thing that's just a bit of fun to play around with. So go and follow them all the way back, go back to the free camera all the way over to here. And yes, if you are interested in Skybox that I'm currently using, there'll be a link to it in the description below. But if you do want to use a link, I believe it is just called a black hole skybox. That well has a giant black hole that you can see in distance, and I believe that is a space pirate just flashing in the background. Anyway, yes, it's got a giant black hole, nice lot of colours all the way around, look at that. And yes, well, the black hole is the main feature. But anyway, for the Ion Cannon Array, pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, this thing is 4,197 large blocks, using one hell of a lot of the DLC packs. We see here that it is a replica from the Homeworld games, the affiliation is the Turonic Raiders, and all the way down to here we can see its weapons is 4 railguns, and it does come with 4 assemblers to use in survival mode if you want to, although this ship overall design is intended for creative. So go and give this thing a thumbs up, move around towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, and have a very quick tour of the interior. Despite it being very big on the inside, it is quite bare bones, so it shouldn't take too long to do that. Then we're going to fly around, maybe try the railguns out on that flashing enemy in the background, that they stay spawned in this world, or they just despawn like they tend to do when I'm recording. Anyway, putting my light on, that's a hell of a lot better. This is what we get at the very front for the Ion Cannon Array, and that is of course 4 railguns to blast your enemies with a lovely circular hole where they all shoot out of. Surrounding all of that, we've got these lovely creamy brown steel blocks that make up the main body of the ship. And over here, we've got ourselves some interior pillars with a camera on the end of it, so we can precisely aim our guns, make sure we're not going to whiff, and we'll have to spend the next 5 minutes recharging them. If we were to move around onto the side, here we go, so all we're going to see is more steel blocks. Until we get around to this side section here, we've got some corrugated skin that lead across some windows to peer outside of. We've got a bunch of armor panels going all the way along, some lovely armor panels with red colouring for a bit of decoration, some more interior pillars just sitting on the side there. As we were to move all the way along, and turn off my light for the moment, there we are, that's what it looks like. And as we were to move all the way along, I'm not too sure what's happened with the graphics here. It looks like we've sort of gone into a Borderlands kind of outline style game. So I'm not actually sure what's going on there. It could just be the skybox, or, well, I don't know. Anyway, yes, towards the back here, some more interior pillars. And as we're to come into this section, we've got some neon tubes in the white colouring, just making a little square. Then over on this side, we then got a section that protrudes out of the ship. That'll eventually lead on to our fins, go up and down. They'll fold out when we click the button on the cockpit. If we look at it like so and put my light on once again, so there's an interior wall there, there's a hinge that will allow it to fold all the way out. Then you have to move all the way up this arm, all the way up to the top here. Here's our little fin grid. So we see we've got ourselves a rotor that comes all the way across, and then got some red lights to make it a bit more menacing when it opens up, and one hell of a lot of armoured panels, and even more of our steel blocks. If we come to the opposite side of this thing, here we go. That's all we get, so there's the rear side of our spotlights, and some more fantastic use for our armoured panels in the brown colouring, just on top of some silvery, dirty grey blocks. Anyway, coming past this fin, all the way over to here, at the rear of the ship, we see we've got a raised up section at the back there with some more interior pillars. Coming all the way down to here, some hydrogen thrusters. Then around towards the very back of this thing, we've got one hell of a lot of hydrogen thrusters, as well as a doorway to get in and out. We can also see some barred window blocks with some more interior walls sitting right behind it, just so that white glow from the interior walls just peeks through. Then moving all the way up, we now clearly see how our side fins have been attached on. If we were to move up and move along the main body, there's some more interior pillars. Then as we were to come all the way along towards the midsection, some more interior walls. Over to this part, a small bit of green, more hydrogen thrusters. Then we've got some nice use for our leather block, and some more of our red armoured panels. And at the very front there, there's the interior pillar with our cameras. All the way down underneath it, now I will have to put my light on for this section, but more interior pillars, more hydrogen thrusters, some more raised sections made out of some grey steel blocks. As we move all the way along, 2 connectors to dock this thing up with, and over this part, more rusted grey steel blocks. There's some more of our creamy steel blocks, just cover it up and break it up all nicely. And there we are with the outside. So it's bloody fantastic with how it's all been set up, and as I always say, I am a big sucker for ships that have folding parts on them, so it always looks very snazzy when they were to open up. But now what I can do is just grab hold of my character, and then we can go on the inside. So making sure I'm in the correct one, here I am. Now we've got to come around to the back of the ship and head in through that doorway. So all the way past this, past that little bit of green there, past down to here, there's our main cockpit to actually drive it around. Then round towards the very back of this thing, here we are at the doorway. So coming all the way down, landing down here, opening this up, got a double door for an airlock. There are no scripts on here, but there are 2 programmable blocks on this. So if you wanted to, you could add the auto door and airlock script on here, and actually have it properly set up. That's entirely up to you. Walking through this section, closing that up, we now got a few ways to go. Down to here's like a small little hangar bay section where you can't really get a ship inside. This is more going to be a storage bay for you to build containers in there and load up with the goods that you need. Or perhaps you can flesh out with more living quarters if that's what you want. So just walk all the way down these steps, around to here, there's some batteries built into the wall. Into this part, a bunch of oxygen tanks, we've got some cargo containers for some quick access. Looking up to there, large hydrogen tanks, large reactors to give it a bit of power. We've got some nice lighting all the way around this. If we're to continue along over to this part, we've then got a hangar bay door, we've got a handy button on the left hand side. We just hit the big red button, that'll open up, and allow us to go to the rear of the ship. Now this is where the programmable blocks I was talking about just a minute ago are currently sitting, but they sit behind 4 hydrogen engines that also help power this thing. So all the way over to here, we've got some red glowing lights. Here's our programmable blocks, and like I said, there's nothing going on with these, but if you want to, auto door and airlock script will be very handy, and for the other one, will be whatever else you can think very handy. Perhaps the automatic LCD screen script if you want to have a bunch more LCD screens telling you all the stuff about the ship around the ship, but yeah, that's up to you. Anyway, walking out this part, up to here. Now it's time to close up this. Here we go. It's actually quite a nice little security door. Could do with a few interior turrets on the inside there, so say a pesky pirate boarded your ship, or wanted to say get to the back of that, you then have them come all the way up this, open it up, they get shredded by a bunch of turrets. Anyway, over to here, and just packing up a little bit. Here we go. Now walk all the way up to this, and now we're on the secondary floor. So into here, just a long corridor that goes towards the front, where we see the tops of our hydrogen tanks and reactors, but there's not too much else going on here. Like I said, with the bottom floor, you can always decorate this if you wanted to, but due to the way the skin's been utilised, it does add a bit more decorative touch to this without actually adding any other blocks. So let's say turn our attention over to this, the dirty blocks. We've got a bit of marking there, a bit of scuff marks on there. It does work very well, just add a bit more life to the ship. Walking all the way past this, opening up this, and now on a small little medical bay section. We've got a survival kit on this side to recharge ourselves and respawn on. On the left hand side, we've got 3 cryopods. And into this side, and then got a toilet and shower, and here's a little locker for you to store a few bits and bobs inside. You would have come past this, close this up once again. Not too sure why I'm actually closing those doorways, doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But up these steps, all the way around, and now into that top section we saw as we were walking along towards the back door. So down below these steps, we then got a projector table, small little desk and chair for your passenger to sit on. We'll turn around and come up this side, and you've got a flight seat with nothing set up on it, so this will be your little co-pilot seat. And well, if you were to put turrets all the way around this, you can say have them take over it and manually shoot stuff. That's what you want. But yes, to drive this thing around, I've got a doppelganger in that seat, so I need to hop over to him. Here we are. And in first person view, this is all we can see. We've only got 1 tab of controls to go through. So in third person view, turning this all the way around like this, pressing number 1, this is going to be to activate our railgun system, where our grid fins will fall backwards, and now we're ready to go. This whole process will actively turn on and off our railguns, so you were to follow all the way back. There we are, and say take over the railguns. It was to mouse click this, nothing is going to happen, because inside here, find the railguns, they're all switched off. To turn them on, we simply fold out the wings, so it is a small safety mechanic to make sure you don't accidentally blast something you want to keep. And there we go, we now open it up, they turned on, now I'm going to start to recharge. Skipping over to number 3, that's going to be for our camera to sit on those pillars right above our railguns so we can clearly see what we're doing. Number 4 is then for your assemblers to turn them on and off. Number 5 is then for your hydrogen engines to turn them on and off. Number 6 is then for your jump drives to turn them on and off, just in case you don't want them to drain all of your power. Number 7 and 8 is both your jump drives. We've got 2 of these on here, all separated, and they can each jump almost their full amount. But as you can see, when I click the buttons, nothing is going to happen here, because we cannot jump while the railguns are deployed. Pressing that, that'll fold it all the way back, turn off the railguns, and then we can now jump 1,972.78 kilometers, which is great for this size of ship. Yes, they are separated, so we can do that twice if you want to, or you can combine them together and jump a much further distance. It's entirely up to you. Then of course the final one is number 9 to turn on and off our hydrogen thrusters all the way around the ship. Now simply make it so we can't move. And there we are with the controls. So what we're going to do is fly this thing around, and afterwards we're going to try and find that blinking signal. That was hopefully a space pirates and not an allied signal. Well, even if it was an allied signal, we're still going to slam straight into it. And that'll be that for this video. So driving forwards, this is what we get. For a surprising lack of thrusters at the back there, we've got a nice bit of speed to hurl this around at 100 meters per second in a short amount of time. Coming to a stop, it feels a little bit slower, and we just about have enough gyroscope controls to 180. Here we go. I say just enough, we've got plenty of gyroscope controls. Now we can boost forwards and stop this a lot quicker. Letting that come to a stop, then moving left. There we go, a nice lot of speed with that. Still very slow compared to forwards and backwards, but perfectly fine at the end of the day. Moving down, and then moving up. Feels about the same moving up and down, but forwards and backwards is still faster. Then as for gyroscope controls, moving this thing around, it's got a nice bit of weight on here, which shouldn't be too surprising given the size of the ship and the sheer weight of this ship. But the fact that we can actually move this thing around makes it very easy to precisely aim our railguns if we do have very wily targets who's trying to actively dodge you. For that all done and out of the way, now what we're going to do is find out where that blinking signal was, and we're going to try and blast it with the railguns. If not, we're going to slam straight into it and hopefully annihilate it that way. And here we are, this was the flashing thing in the distance. We get a nice close-up of this, which is a small pirate wreckage, where we can see it's been in, well, a bit of combat, and now it's in tiny little pieces. We are 1.9 kilometers away, and I think it's time to deploy our little fins and activate the railgun. Then afterwards we're going to charge straight into it to see what kind of damage we can deal, and we should be able to clip it quite nicely, because we've got a nice big surface area, thanks to the fin being all stretched out. Anyway, aiming like this, and I think we need to go for hopefully the middle section where they've got a hydrogen tank, although that looks like a large cargo container, which would be a bloody good thing to shoot. So activating this, shooting into that, hiding the HUD. And there we go, that was a nice direct hit onto the container, and it's been completely and utterly annihilated. And there we go, a nice long-range sniping platform. And I think now what we're going to do is just charge straight towards them and crash straight into them at maximum speed. So here we go, we are now 1.7 kilometers away, whirling up to about 80 meters per second. And hopefully we'll hit 100 before we crash into them. Yes, we will. Don't know why I said that. I'm just aiming straight towards them, making sure we go straight into the middle of them. Here we go, third person view, hiding the HUD once again. Aiming it down slightly. Here we go, aiming up a little bit. Any second now. And there we go. The grid fins did a fantastic job. There goes one of the hydrogen tanks, or that might be our hydrogen tanks exploding. But look at that, we are still somewhat in one piece. We've still got some fins on the side there. We do not have any more railguns attached onto this. Because to say, hop out of this and walk around on foot. So down we come, there's my doppelganger having a terrible time there. Now walk down to here, let's see what kind of damage it is on the interior. We've clearly lost our gravity generator. But well, down to there, we see our O2HU generators, we've got oxygen tanks, we still got our hydrogen tanks and large reactors, we've got power on this, which is bloody good stuff. And well, we're not going to be running out of power anytime soon with that thing. But down to here, we lost our steps at the bottom. And well, we have to be very careful scooting around here to make sure we don't randomly get ejected out. Towards the front. And there we are. Our hydrogen engines also survived, and our program blocks also survived. So despite taking a lot of damage, it's not too bad. We can easily repair this thing up, slap on some new thrusters, and we'll be good as new. But as for that, that's pretty much it for the ion cannon array. It's a lovely ship to use in your world if you do want to have something, let's say, nice big sniping platform with folding parts on it that does look spectacular as it does it. Of course, this is designed for creative mode and not survival mode, but you could use it in survival mode if you wanted to. And I'll be linked to it in the description below if you wish to download and play around yourself. Highly recommend you do, as well as a link to the skybox I'm currently using. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.